Welcome to all of you. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about Mach-Zehnder interferometer multiplexer. In short, it is known as MZI multiplexer. Let us first understand what are these interferometer. Interferometers are devices that extract information from interference. In this case, light from a single source is split into two separate beams and allowed to travel in different optical paths. At the end, those two light beams are combined together to form an interference pattern. Now these interference fringes at the end what we have obtained. So those interference fringes are going to provide information about the difference in optical lengths. Now the wavelength dependent multiplexers can be made by making use of MZI technique. So this diagram shows a typical basic Mach-Zehnder interferometer. So this is a 2 cross 2 interferometer. It is having two inputs as well as two outputs. Therefore, it is known as 2 cross 2 interferometer. Greater than this can also be developed, but here for our study we are going to consider only 2 cross 2 size. So it consists of three stages. The first stage is the 3 dB splitter. Second is the phase shifter. Third one is the 3 dB combiner. Now let us take a little bit detail about it. So here we are going to have two inputs. Then after 3 dB splitter, which is having a distance of t, we are going to have a phase shifter. In the phase shifter, we are going to have two different lengths. So this is going to be one waveguide and the lower one is going to be another waveguide. The lower waveguide is going to have the length of L, whereas the upper waveguide will have an additional length L plus delta L. This additional length is going to create a phase shift at the end. Then after a distance d of 3 dB combiner we are going to have. Related to this, we are going to have an identification of the length delta L as a derivation. Now let us start with the derivation. Now first the propagation matrix M coupler for a coupler of length d is given by M coupler is equal to cos k into d, j sin k into d, then j sin k into d cos k into d, where k is going to be the coupling efficient and d is going to be the length. Since we are considering a 3 dB coupler, in this case the power will be equally divided. Therefore, 2kd will be equal to pi by 2. If you identify for k into d, then this 2 will be cross multiplied over here. Then kd will become equal to pi by 4. Now, in place of k into d over here, if we substitute pi by 4, we are going to get this matrix. That is, M coupler is equal to cos pi by 4, j sin pi by 4, j sin pi by 4 and cos pi by 4. We can substitute the equivalent value for this, that is 1 by root 2. Cos pi by 4 is equal to 1 by root 2, sin pi by 4 is equal to 1 by root 2. That value has been substituted and this is what we are going to get. Within this matrix, 1 by root 2 is common. So we can take this as a common factor outside. So that has been taken outside. The remaining is 1, j, j and 1. So this is going to be the equation 1 and this is going to be the equation 2. Further, at the second part, that is at the central region, we need to identify the phase difference. The phase difference is given by delta phi and its equivalent representation is delta phi is equal to 2 pi by lambda into n1 into length of waveguide 1 minus n2 into length of waveguide 2. So as I told you before, So the upper one I am going to take as waveguide 1, and this lower one I am going to take it as the waveguide 2, and this is the central region what we are considering. And once again, reminder, so waveguide 2 is having a different length, waveguide 1 is going to have a different length. Now N1 and N2 are going to be the refractive index of these waveguides. Now length of waveguide 1 is only in this particular central region, it is going to be L plus delta L, therefore it has been substituted. Length of waveguide 2 is going to be L, and that value has been substituted over here. So this waveguide length of this waveguide 1 and 2 are interchangeable. Anyhow, I am taken whatever we are going to consider, that is important. So upper one is the waveguide 1, lower one is the waveguide 2. Now after making the length substitution, this is what we are going to get. Now take this 2 pi by lambda inside, we are going to have 2 pi n1 divided by lambda into L plus delta L minus 2 pi n2 divided by lambda into L. Now we have to achieve the phase difference over here. So to achieve phase difference, there are two methods. First one is by changing the refractive index of these two waveguides, we can achieve it. The second way is change the length of these two waveguides to achieve the phase shift. In this case, our consideration is we are varying the length of the waveguide to achieve the shifting operation. Therefore, the refractive index of both waveguides remains the same. That is, N1 is equal to N2 is equal to N effective we are going to have. They are going to have the same refractive index. Therefore, in place of N1 and N2, we are going to have a substitution N effective. Then 2 pi N effective by lambda on both of these two will become common factor, and that is what is being written over here. So delta phi is equal to 2 pi N effective divided by lambda taken as common into L plus delta L minus L. So this minus L and plus L, they will cancel. Remaining is delta phi is equal to 2 pi N effective divided by lambda into delta L. In a simplified form of this representation, we are going to have phase difference is equal to, that is delta phi is equal to K into delta L, where the term K is going to represent 2 pi N effective divided by lambda. So this K value we are going to use somewhere in the further, so keep track of it. Now for a given phase difference, the propagation matrix M delta phi for the phase shifter, it is given by M delta phi is equal to exponential j k delta L divided by 2 0 0 exponential of minus j k delta L divided by 2. Okay. Now the optical output fields E out 1 and E out 2 from the two central arms can be related to the input fields E in 1 and E in 2 by this representation. That is, E out 1, E out 2 is equal to M into E in 1, E in 2, where this term M is realized by M coupler into M delta phi into M coupler. So M coupler matrix we have derived previously, and M delta phi we have represented previously. Now after making a solution for this incomplete, we are going to have this matrix as the output. That is, M is equal to J as a common factor, sin K delta L divided by 2 cos K delta L divided by 2 cos K delta L divided by 2 minus sin K delta L divided by 2. So now we are going to have a consideration over here. So we are going to have we are considering that let us have at the input E in 1 the wavelength be lambda 1, and at E into let the wavelength be lambda 2. Then the output field Eout1 and Eout2 are each sum of the individual contributions from the two input fields. That is Eout1 is equal to this formula we are going to have, and Eout2 is equal to this formula we are going to have. The term K that has been represented, that is generalized as what we have got previously, that is Kj is equal to 2 pi n effective divided by lambda j. Now the output powers that are found from the light intensity and is the square of the field strength, that is P out1 is equal to E out1 into E star out1. So from that we are going to have this realization sin square k1 delta L divided by 2 P in 1 plus cos square k2 delta L by 2 P in 2. Similarly, the second output power, that is P out 2, will be equal to E out 2 into E star out 2. That is equal to cos square k1 delta L divided by 2 into P in 1 plus sin square k2 delta L divided by 2 into P in 2, where P in J will be equal to modulus of E in into J square, that will be expanded as E in into J, E in star in into J. Okay, so now coming to the almost last part of the realization. So in MZI, it is required to have the constructive interference at the one output port and a destructive interference at the another output port. Now these two, now we are going to realize that now they are realized by these two expressions, that is equation 2 and equation 12 and 13. So K1 delta L divided by 2 is equal to 5. Considering this as a constructive interference, and destructive interference is going to be K2 delta L divided by 2 is equal to pi by 2. Now our requirement is we need to calculate the value delta L, that is what is our requirement out of this MZI complete derivation, right? So to have that, we are going to subtract equation 12 and 13. That means this is the 12 minus 13 we are going to make. So considering only the left hand side, so in the left hand side what we can observe, delta L by 2 is common in both of these two expressions. So delta L by 2 has been taken as common, remaining is K1 minus K2. This is on the left hand side, and on the right hand side it is pi and minus pi by 2. So therefore pi minus pi by 2 has been represented. So simplifying it further, left hand side is kept as it is. On the right hand side we can calculate pi minus pi by 2. By solving this we get the solution as pi by 2, that has been written over here. K1 minus K2 into delta L divided by 2 is equal to pi by 2. So 2 is a common value on both sides. So both of these two once divides. By taking out this, the remaining is K1 minus K2 into delta L is equal to 5. Now further we can simplify for delta L. Now in the previous we have got this expression. So taking this expression to the next level. Now for K, we have identified a value at the beginning itself, that is K is equal to 2 pi n effective divided by lambda. Now this expression, if we take it for K1, then it will become K1 is equal to 2 pi n effective divided by lambda 1. Similarly for K2, it will become K2 is equal to 2 pi n effective divided by lambda 2. So in both of these two cases, 2 pi n effective is a common factor, right? And we are going to have the substitution of K1 and K2 by this 2 pi n effective divided by corresponding lambda value. So that is by taking this 2 pi n effective as a common factor, by replacing K1 and K2 by this value, we are going to have 2 pi n effective into 1 divided by lambda 1 minus 1 divided by lambda 2, delta L retaining as it is, that is equal to pi. Pi is also retained as it is. Now on both sides we are going to have the term pi. Therefore this pi once divides. right? So remaining is now we need to have value for delta L. Keep the delta L on the left hand side and shift all remaining value to the right hand side. So we are going to have this representation. Delta L is equal to 2n effective into 1 by lambda 1 minus 1 by lambda 2 whole to the power of minus 1. Instead of writing it as 1 divided by so and so, it is simply written as to the power of minus 1. So both of them remains the same. Now identifying lambda 1 and lambda 2 and replacing it by equivalent value, that is, so lambda 1 can be given as c divided by v1. Similarly, lambda 2 is just c divided by v2, where c is going to be the speed of the light and v is the carrier frequency. So we are replacing lambda by corresponding c by v. So by doing so and resolving that, we are going to get 2n effective into v1 minus v2 divided by c whole to the power of minus 1. So this v1 minus v2, we are going to replace that by delta v. So expression will become delta L is equal to 2n effective into delta v divided by c whole to the power of minus 1. Now we need to take out this minus 1. So that means 1 divided by we are going to make. So that will be resulting in delta L is equal to c will go to the numerator and everything else will come to the denominator. Therefore, the final expression will be delta L is equal to c divided by 2n effective into delta v. So our aim was to obtain an expression for delta L, and that is what we have obtained over here. So this is one of the most important questions that will be usually asked in the examination. Thanks for joining.